Fab. So I'll just keep letting everyone into the lobby, but because we've only got a half an hour session, I think it would be good to make a little start. So my name is Malika. I work for Success at School, and we are really excited to bring the team at BP, who are here to talk about all of their apprenticeship opportunities, a couple of tips and tricks for the application process, and they'll be answering all the questions that you do have. So please feel free to pop as many questions as you like into the chat. We'll make sure that BP get all of the questions that you do ask as well, so they can answer it at a later date. But just so that you guys are aware, this webinar will also be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel tomorrow morning, and we will share the link with you so you guys can rewatch it as many times as you like. But that is enough of me rambling on. You didn't come here to listen to me all night, so I'm going to pass it on to the lovely Robin and Catherine, who will be here to talk through a little presentation and share a couple of videos with you guys as well. So Robin, over to you.
That's super. Thank you, Malika. So I'm assuming that everybody can see my screen with the welcome slide, Success at School. So if you can't see that, do just let me know in the chat, but I'm going to assume that you can. So as Malika said, thank you so much. Oh, brilliant. Thumbs up. Love that. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We know you've probably had long days at college, and then you've got some time to spend with us in the evening as well. So we really appreciate you joining us. Catherine and I are going to give you a whistle-stop tour of apprenticeships at BP. We're going to talk a bit about BP. If I move to the agenda slide, here we go. So we're going to talk a bit about BP, about who we are. There might be some things that you know, there might be some things that you don't know. We're going to talk a bit about the early career opportunities we have at BP. Now, specifically today, we're going to be talking about apprenticeships in the early career space, although we do also have graduate opportunities for people that have already completed a first degree. We will have a look at some of the training, an overview of our recruitment process, and as Malika said, feel free to pop any questions as they occur to you in the chat. And Catherine, well done, has put a little note there. Catherine is the queen of answering our questions in the chat. If there's any that are particularly pertinent, then we can call those out so that everybody gets a chance to hear those as well. We'll see how we get on for time. As Malika said, we have only got 30 minutes and I've got quite a lot of slides, although I do talk quite fast. All right, so who are we at BP? You might be familiar with BP from our forecourt business, but we do much more than that. At BP, we provide heat, light and mobility to customers all over the world, with a purpose to reimagine energy for people and the planet, and an ambition to be a net zero company by 2050 or sooner. Net zero is essentially making sure that we add no more carbon dioxide than the amount taken away through our operations, leading to significantly lower emissions. There's a number of ways that we're doing that. Some of that is about investing in renewable energies and low carbon energies. And some of that is about ensuring that the hydrocarbons business that we still have is as fuel efficient as possible and doesn't release emissions through inefficiency. We have operations in Europe, North and South America, Australasia, Asia and Africa. We deliver energy solutions across the world. And this is our purpose. We want to help the world reach net zero and improve people's lives. We're transforming our whole business to make it happen. We've reinvented BP to meet the challenges ahead, growing our low carbon energy business, driving down emissions across our operations, and forming positive partnerships all around the world. So you might find, if you do some research, that we have got some partnerships with electrifying cities, which is one of our exciting partnerships. Okay. So to build on all of that and bring the scale of our company to life a bit, we have just under 66,000 employees globally, with operations across 65 countries. Over 20,000 retail sites in the UK. You're probably familiar with seeing an M&S store now when filling up with fuel at a BP pump. We have 2.2 million barrels of oil per day, which is our old hydrocarbons business. We have 13,000 EV charging points and increasing. And as I say, some of those are domestic and some of those around electrifying cities. We have 14 countries where Lightsource BP is active, which is our international solar business, and 44 businesses supported via BP Ventures or Launchpad. BP Ventures and Launchpad are essentially investing in businesses who have game-changing technology and can help us deliver on our net zero ambition. All right. So who we are defines what we stand for at BP, building on our best qualities and those things that are most important to us. It comprises 3 simple beliefs that can inspire each of us at BP to be our best every day. Live our purpose is about the impact we make through our work and ensuring we follow our code of conduct, putting safety first over everything else. Play to win is about knowing our competition, always striving to improve and owning our mistakes. Caring for others is being kind to those we work with, prioritising the team and putting ourselves in others' shoes. All of these valuables are relatable to how you work now, at school or in hobbies or in your family life, and how you interact with one another. And this is the core of how we work. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to play a video for you now from one of our apprentices. Okay, so I can see a couple of notes in the chat there that the video isn't working. Malika and Ellie, can you see the video okay?
Yeah, it's working from my side at the minute.
Got a couple of chats, a couple of comments that people haven't. Other guests on the call, can you give me? Okay, so likewise working. Yes, we cannot hear anything. Oh, so it sounds like there's a mix.
I think it's a mix because I've had a couple of people private message me that it is working. So
okay,
I think it's a bit of a mix there.
I'm so sorry to those that can't. As Malika said, there will be a recording so that hopefully you can see the video on the recording afterwards if you can pick it up. So I have stopped the video part way through, so I'll play it now, and maybe that will just come back for those of you that haven't been able to see it.
Hopefully, but it will be shared with you guys tomorrow morning. You'll get an email with this recording, so hopefully you'll be able to see it tomorrow.
Super, thank you so much. And for those that can't see or hear, there's just about 50 seconds of the video left, so not too long. There we go, thank you. Okay, super, thank you. So, and I'm sorry to the person that can't hear very well, thank you to Malika or Ellie for replying on there. Super, thank you, and to another helpful guest as well. Super, thank you. So, you may already know, but I'm going to recap anyway, because it's important we've got a shared understanding of what is an apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is a paid job where you have an opportunity to learn and gain valuable experiences. As you heard on the video there, all of our jobs, whether that's through apprenticeships or through graduates, you have a real job from the very beginning with a team that you work with, that you support, deliverables and actions that you're responsible for. One of the comments that we often get from our apprentices is how sort of amazed they are by how trusted they are from day one to do a job. That said, you're not left on your own to do that job. There is a lot of people around you to support, to make sure that you feel comfortable in knowing what you're doing. But it is a real job in a real environment. Alongside on the job training, you have 20% of your time that's protected to complete classroom-based learning with a college, university or training provider, which leads to a nationally recognised qualification. Now, post-COVID, a lot of that training that was historically a day a week at a university has moved online, and some of that will be live interactive webinars and some of that will be on-demand accessible information. That really depends on which qualification you're doing for which course with which provider. But that is 20% of your time that's protected. The apprenticeship includes paid employment with holiday leave. You have the same holiday leave as everybody else at BP. Hands-on experience and the formal assessment at the end of your qualification. Apprenticeships are an exciting paid option for anyone wanting to gain experience, upskill or change career, because they offer the chance to earn a wage whilst working and studying. There are many benefits to completing an apprenticeship, including the experience and skills development, the qualification that I've talked about, with the big difference being there's no tuition fees that you would pay at university, employee benefits, and you are open. All of our BP benefits that are open to all of our staff are also open to apprentices, and a generous wage. All of our salaries are advertised on our website. We don't say things like competitive salaries. We do advertise them. We're very transparent about the amount that we pay. And of course, you have exposure to industry professionals, so you can start building your professional network from day one. Okay. So here we are at BP. We have a number of apprenticeships on offer, and they can all be seen on our website on bp.com/careers, and it comes under the school leavers section in the UK. We have apprenticeships in P&C, which is what we call our HR team. P&C stands for People and Culture. We have apprenticeships in BP Pulse. We actually don't have any this year, although we had a large intake last year. BP Pulse is the electric vehicle charging arm of our business. It's quite an exciting place to be. We have apprenticeships in digital. So that covers things like software engineering, data analysis. There's a number of different roles. We've got apprenticeships in business, which covers things like finance, marketing. We've got apprenticeships in engineering, and lastly in trading and shipping. The criteria for eligibility for those roles very much depends on whether it's a degree level programme or whether it is a level 3 or 4, which we term foundation, which isn't strictly the right terminology, but that's how we differentiate. And it depends whether it is a qualification such as engineering, which will have very specific requirements, or whether something like business, which might have less specific requirements and is open to more generic A levels or A level equivalents. So you can see here we have a salary range of between 19,600 and 24,100 for all of our apprenticeships except trading and shipping. So we've currently got 2 apprenticeships advertised for trading and shipping. We've got one as a 4-year degree programme and one as a 2-year foundational programme. The trading and shipping apprenticeship salary starts at 30,800. All apprenticeships are eligible for a sign-on bonus of £3,000. That's payable in your first salary and can be spent on whatever is appropriate for you. The idea behind it is largely around a settling in allowance to enable you to fund travel, a season ticket or a car, or rent if you're moving house. But you can spend it as you wish. We have a wellbeing allowance, a flexible benefits of 20% of your base salary, which you can spend on an array of benefits, or you can just take as additional cash if you don't want those benefits. We have 28 days annual leave plus the 8 bank holidays, in addition to which you have 2 wellbeing days. There's a supportive environment with buddies and mentors from both your apprenticeship provider and within the BP business. There's lots of clubs and societies that you can join so you don't feel that you're missing out on that social side of university. And programmes, as I've said, last between 2 and 4 years. Okay, so a snapshot here of the apprenticeship programme. We have some examples here of the programmes we have at level 3 and level 4, and some examples here of the programmes that we have at the degree level. Okay. Now, I'm aware of time, so I'm going to race through the application process with some stages overview for you. Our apprenticeships are all open now, and we anticipate that they'll be open to the end of the year, and some of them may be into January. What I would say, however, though, is that we do recruit on a rolling basis, which means if we have a very full pipeline of strong candidates, we may close the role earlier than expected. So if you do see an opportunity that you're interested in, the advice is always to get your application in as soon as possible. The initial stage is an online questionnaire and CV upload, which assesses your eligibility for the role. It's very quick and it's very easy. If there are specific criteria shown on the job advert, make sure that you answer that on the questionnaire as well as having it on your CV to make sure that the system can pick you up to see that those are the qualifications that you've got. If you are eligible, we will move you on to a set of online assessments. There is a deadline for doing those assessments. They are open for 7 days. So if you have applied, do keep an eye on your emails to make sure that you see those when they come through, that invitation. Make sure that you keep an eye on your junk folders as well. If those online assessments go well, you will move to an on-demand video interview, which, as it says here, will assess your motivation for working for BP and for the role that you've applied for, and will cover some competency-based questions. If that goes well, we will invite you to the final stage of an assessment centre when you come in to meet us in person. You'll most likely be in the office where that apprenticeship opportunity would be based, and you will undergo a number of different assessments on that day. Some of them will be individual and some of them will be team-based, and as it says here, to test your alignment with BP values, but also to give you an opportunity to get to know us and to ask any questions that you would like to from the team of assessors and from some of our current early careers community who would also be there to support the event on the day. Okay, so here is a slide that covers the online assessments, and this might be quite new to many of you, might not have seen this before. So I would recommend that you take a look at these headings and you do some Googling to find out a bit more about them. We have a behavioural assessment section, a situational judgment section, and a logical reasoning section. As part of our invitation, we will give you an opportunity to practice so you can see exactly what we're asking. But I would again recommend that as part of your Googling, you look for some examples where you can practice this kind of thing so you can get familiar with the kind of questions and how you might like to answer them. Okay, got another video, but I'm going to skip through that because we are tight on time. And I would like to just talk to you a little bit about the on-demand video section, which again will feel quite strange if you've never done anything like it before. It is a recorded interview where you will have some of our colleagues from the recruitment teams globally will be recorded asking questions. You will play that question to yourself. You'll have a couple of minutes to think about your answer and prepare, and then a couple of minutes to record back your answer. You do have an opportunity once per question to re-record if you get partway through and you get stuck or you feel like you're not really giving yourself the best chance. Typically, it will take around 30 to 40 minutes and there'll be usually around 8 questions. Again, if you Google, you can find out what typical questions might be on here for companies such as ourselves, other big companies. You can Google the motivation and competency-based questions for an assessment centre or for a graduate or apprenticeship entry criteria. You can use any examples from your application form, that's absolutely fine. And we don't put a value judgment on the situation of the example that you are using. We know that most of our applicants will be young and will have had limited opportunity to be out in the workplace or have a wide experience. So we fully expect that people will refer to school, to hobbies, any extracurricular activities or part-time jobs, or even family examples when you're talking about how you've demonstrated a competency that we've asked. Structuring your response using the STARS technique is something that's very useful. I have a slide on stars. Here we go. So for those of you who don't know, stars is the situation. So you need to tell us what is the situation that you find yourself in. We don't know. The task, what was the task at hand that demonstrates this competency? And then action here, this is where you are the star of your story. So whilst we all know that it's important to focus on teams, what we want to know is, why was that team better? Because you were in it. What was the action that you took? What was the result of that action? And again, we have self. So talking about what you did, but also what did you learn from that experience? So I will just pop back one slide. And again, doing some research here is really key. BP's often in the news and the trade press. Look beyond our website when you're doing your research. Make sure that you've really clearly read the job advert, but also the job description that's underneath that advert when you click on apply. Clicking apply will show you some more information, but won't actually make your application. So don't feel nervous about clicking on that to look. If there's anything that you don't understand on there, make sure you find out. Okay. And as I say, the last stage of our recruitment process is an assessment centre. As it says here, typically you'll do 3 to 5 exercises as a combination of group, individual, role play, maybe some analytical case studies. We will tell you if there's anything you need to prepare in advance, although typically not. You will usually not have to do anything, and we'll give you the information that you need on the day to make sure that everybody's got a level playing field. It feels quite daunting to talk about this, and when you come to a building it can feel quite daunting. But don't forget, if you've come this far, then there's something about you that we really like and that we want to see more of. We typically find that people will say that it wasn't as scary or intimidating as they thought that it might be. Everybody who is there from the BP side, whether that's us as the recruitment team, whether it's assessors from the business or current members of the early careers community, we are all there to help you feel supported and positive and to show us the best of who you are. Nobody's there to trip you up or to spring any unpleasant surprises. Okay, as before, doing your research, letting us as recruiters know ahead of time if there's any adjustments that you need. That might be adjustments because of a physical difference or neurodiversity, or because you have an exceptionally difficult journey. We will fund your travel for the assessment centre. We will send all of those details out, but if you do get those details and there's something that's worrying you, reach out to your recruiter. We are there to support you. Make sure you've had a good night's sleep and that you've planned your journey and you know how you're going to get to and from, so you can take out as many worries as you can. Okay, then I'm going to play this last video. Malika, I'm aware that we're at time. Do we have 5 more minutes? Okay, awesome, because this is a good one. Thank you, everyone. So I'm aware that our time has sped on by. So thank you to everybody who has put questions in the chat, and to Catherine, who's been answering them as we go along. Malika, I think you said you're going to capture all of those questions that you can send through to us. If there is anything that hasn't been answered, we can answer back to Malika to share with you as a community. So I'd like to end on this slide with the QR code for our apprenticeship pages.
Yeah, so I've made a note of all of those questions that you have asked. I'll definitely share them with the BP team. The last thing that I wanted to also mention just quickly before we close is BP have kindly agreed to do 2 more webinars to help with all of the questions that you guys have regarding the online assessments and the assessment day as well, to sort of help calm your nerves. I've popped the link for both of those into the chat here as well, but I'll also send the link across to all of you guys who attended tomorrow alongside the YouTube video recording. But thank you guys once again so much for your time this evening. We really hope that you found this session as insightful as we did, and thank you to Robin and Catherine, who's done an amazing job at manning that chat and answering pretty much every single question.
I told you she was the queen of the chat.
Wonder Woman. So hopefully you guys get to meet Robin in person at one of these assessment centres very soon. But have a lovely evening, and thank you once again to the team at BP.